Hi, I'm Scott and welcome back to the channel. Last week we got this all done. So we got all of this seating area in. We have got it all fixed in now, standard routed, lids put in, all fully mounted. I've got a game plan for here. We're going to have the gas compartment here with some sort of removable counter or hinge system to replace the gas bottle. This week we're going to be getting the nice worktop ball put on. We might have to do a bit of modification somewhere and maybe start doing some of these compartments in here. So measuring from that top corner, we have approximately about 187. So that's going to be the worktop. It's a solid lump of cedar. The camera really didn't do it justice. It looks pretty amazing, to be fair. It's going to be a shame to cut it up. The width is about 5 centimeters roughly. So what's it going to be? About 187, I think. See what I mean? It's slightly too short. Whereas 187 is about here, look. So we're going to have to think of a new plan. This is the longest piece they had. This is near enough the only piece I could find. So we're going to have to work with it. So I've worked out I'm going to use this side because this is a bit too much of a step out. It's got a little bit of damage as well. So this one's a lot more vertical. So I'm going to go for this side. I've roughly got a level to go off, so I need to do it. So obviously going to overhang that face a little bit. So I need to take the minimum and do 40 back or get the measurement right. But the thing I'm thinking of first is I need to figure out the maximum length I can possibly get. So now I've got that lined up, look. If that's going to be going to a right angle to here, it's probably going to be about 166 of usable length, because all of this is obviously got to go. Same as here as well, look. So roughly about the minimum length it's going to have to come and lose this. So I'm going to have to get have a little figure out now of how to use all this wood and maybe cut it down, put a unit, and then have the other piece the other side. I was hoping to put this whole worktop in the full length and then have the unit sit in, like not all the way to the edge, have it set back a bit and have a thinner one going up. But I might actually have to cut this and then have a gap and then have another piece. Let's figure it out. So the length of that wood was 166 and roughly the length of this wood from there to here is 186. So that's 20 centimeters I've got to lose. So that's going to be about that much I've got to lose somewhere. So I was thinking, do I put a 20 centimeter deep, well wide, sorry, unit coming up here, and then have a step. So you can bring the worktop up, have a unit, have worktop, but then there's going to be a weird stop plane and then worktop again. Because it would have been nice to bring the worktop out to here and then have that unit set back to this distance here, go back to here and go up, so you had a nice worktop that came around and followed on round there. Decisions. Also, if I just sit the worktop in, that's where the worktop comes up to, so I've got that plain empty gap at the end. So can I potentially lose a piece of the end of that panel and then just have a ply top on this piece? Like, can I cut it halfway off, lose like 10 centimeters there, then have 10 centimeters of weird gap of ply as a worktop, and then I can mount the hinges to that ply for the worktop to come up that way for access to the fridge. Not sure. So as you can see now, I've got the fridge in. that I've just put a little mark there to show where the worktop actually comes to at the moment. So it's a shame it couldn't just come to there, isn't it, really? Could I bring the worktop to there? If I bring the wood to this surface, have a little gap here, will that just account for that little gap there? Like, I don't really care about here, you just set it and leave it, don't you? Not sure. Right, so I'm going to try and get a line drew up for where I want my wood to, basically my edge is going to be. So I think if I get a bit of string, figure out what's going to leave me least of material. A little kick out and start here, you can see that. Because obviously I can't do it like this, because then you'll have a massive gap in the middle. I don't mind if it kicks out too much here, because this is going to be at the back towards the fridge. So it doesn't really matter. It's this piece here that I don't want to be sticking, but obviously I'm not going to go like that. It's going to probably be about there, isn't it? Maybe a little bit more. Even. Roughly gets me a line there. See if I take any more. How many times am I going to hit myself on that? Place your bets. Right, so now I've got that. So now I'll do 90 degrees from there. This is just roughly for now, so I can get a precise measurement. Roughly for now, so I can get a precise measurement. Roughly. So what we do, I've got a 90 degree off this line, so I can figure out what I need to cut off and lose here. So I've got the marker. Let me eyeball this. I'll line the square roughly. I don't know if I'm meant to do it, but this is what I'm doing. And that is about there. Right. So the last one. 166. That's it. 168 is got now. 168. Right, let's see what I can do again. So with that, I've left 1 centimetre over there. So there'll be a little gap down there. And my mark is there, so just enough, like just enough to get that door open. Hopefully that's going to be enough. But that's what I'm going to do. So then I'm going to cut that wood to as long as I can get it and have a nice little bit of a hang here with 1 centimetre there. Wish me luck. Cut. The saw struggled to get the depth a little bit, it weren't quite enough, but should be able to sand that off. You can really see how dark the wood is, or how red it is. You can see it more there than you can the actual wood. But well, I actually managed to get a little bit more because I measured from the back face to where the wood shelf, the wooden bit is underneath, so I actually managed to bring it back a little bit more. See there, look, let's get a little bit more out of it, and it's just resting in there now. There's some fettling to do around where the little knob is on the bottom of the window lock. Almost missing over there, but there's a little, so I've got to cut out around that. I think then I've got to cut a hole in here for the heater vent to go in, for the heater vent to come up, and then it can get pushed back more. This panel here, I'm going to put some birch ply and screw it to the bottom back here, so this will be filled in with birch here, and then a panel at the back of that as well coming down to fill that little odd panel up. So a panel here and a panel there. I think I'm going to route this edge off. This is going to probably end up being nicknamed the hip smasher as you get in and out, so I might have to cut the corner off this. Maybe do a nice 45, like a dead on 45, I'm not sure yet. That needs to get cut down though. I've got to be careful, look, because there's a crack. It's not all the way through yet. There's a crack coming all the way through, look. So I might actually run a couple of screws up under here just to try and make sure if it gets whacked it doesn't fall off. This end, look at the measurement, look where the little black mark is. It's pretty perfect. Here I'm going to put again, so there's going to be a bit of ply in here, like here, going all the way down here, and then I'll put another bit on the top, because when it's butted up against here I can actually put the hinges here and here to allow this top surface. I'm going to cut it here as well, so that top surface will fold up to get into the fridge. But then in this panel I think what I'm going to do is get, you know, the like heat vent things, the little grills, the little mesh grills, get a nice brass one to sit in that panel. I think that will make that look quite neat, and also it will help because I've got the heat of the fridge there for the vent, and also the heater down in there as well, so it'd be nice actually to have a bit of a vent. So I meant to do that, just saying, I meant to, not because the wood's too short, it's meant to be like that. So it's the next day. I forgot to mention yesterday I also got this seal put in, this alpine seal. Not too bad, to be honest. I'll record when I do this side, but I'm going to have to take the awning off, because this side I could move the roof bars out to the side to get the filler strip in. this one I'm not going to move it because it's all mounted to the awning, so the awning's got to come off, and the roof bars. So I'll do that at a later date. Now I know how to do this side, I'll show how to do that side. My friend did a really good job as well. Look, thanks for just overlapping it onto the rubber. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is, before I start really getting this worked up in place and figuring it out, I'm going to get all this sound deadened and insulated. So the nice thing with these early 110s is they had this little compartment in the rear quarter. I think this is pretty much where your jack would have gone. Some of your tools. There would have been a plastic panel in here, I think, but that's long gone. And there's some old patches. Look, there are 2 big holes here where there was some wiring loom coming through, another one here, that I just put some little patches on just to stop the water coming in. So I've already put some sealer along the edges because there's been an accident in this corner. It just pulled this panel away a bit, so all of this is all sealed up. So now I'm going to get some sound deadening and basically line all of this as much as I can, just mainly to waterproof it than anything. And now I'm going to put a layer of foam, because this is where this gas bottle is going to sit in, roughly about there. And then I think I'll make some sort of panel that kind of goes over, maybe a half panel, small panel that fits in here, and then another small one that fits in there. I might actually use this compartment as like a long-term storage thing for like tools and parts and stuff that I'm really not going to use that often at all. So if I need to, I can just shove the food up to one side and lift the panel up here and just dive down in there. I did have another thought last night actually. So this gas bottle normally lasts us, I think it was like nearly 2 weeks worth of camping. It might have actually been longer than that. I've got a feeling we went a whole month without changing one. But so obviously that's not going to be changed that much. So I'm wondering if I can make this panel removable now, so I can somehow like just take that out. That should just pull out of there, and then if I can just make that like a quick release panel or just a couple of screws, because the worktop's going to help hold that to there. So can I make it so I can pull the bottle through and in? I can put, like last resort, I just put some hinges on to make the unit flip up. But I just don't want to cut it, basically. I just feel bad, because if I put hinges on, I'm going to have a spacer here, and then you have your hinge. So I just rather not cut it. I'd rather keep it all one piece. Like if I can keep one piece of unit and then just bring this board down to it, I think that's going to look best. Because obviously there's going to be the unit here, so there'll be a cut line here, and then one along the back possibly to hinge. I'm not sure. I'll have to figure that out. But I'm going to roughly figure out if I can bring it through this way, because I think that's going to be the neatest. Let's say, yeah, it's not going to be as easy, but for how often I change that, why not? Yeah, that's going to be the easiest. So cut along here, up here, so I'll miss where the pocket holes go in, where the screws are. So along here and up here, put 2 hinges, one there, and then I'm going to put, instead of these screws, I'll put a little coach bolt through, and then a little wing nut. So all you got to do is undo the wing nut, and so you just pull that fridge out, undo the wing nut, pull this little panel out, and just slide that round and feed the gas bottle in and down. Yeah, it would have been nicer to actually figure it out and make this probably a bit more of a bigger hole, but to be honest, I don't want it massive because I don't want the bed to slip in. So that's going to be the neatest. I'm going to do that. that's all sound deadened and insulated now with the foam on. If you thought that was boring, imagine doing it real time. Yeah, I got all this foamed as well. The only panel I didn't do was that one in there, on that very far edge. Partly because I couldn't be bothered. Secondly, because I don't think it's going to make any difference whatsoever. And trying to reach in there to get the two little bolts out will be a pain, and with all the stuff in there. So I thought I'd leave that out. It's not going to make any difference. It's going to have a cover over it anyway. But it's mainly the insulation here just helps a little bit with waterproofing and stop the gas bottle getting just so cold. Because some nights it gets so cold that they don't want to let the gas out, sometimes you have to warm it up a bit. So I thought a bit of insulation would help. So next I'm going to find the insulation to put inside this channel. I'm just going to try feeding it in from the ends. Put a little bit in there. I don't know if it actually does anything, but it's a thought that counts. So I'm going to put a little bit in there while I've got nothing on here. I'm going to get this panel cut, that one cut, that goes into here. I'm going to mess around with this panel, put a bolt through there, a couple of hinges, and I might, before the worktop goes on, I think I have some black 4-way stretch carpet that I might just wrap on that back surface and everything. This is not going to get covered, but I think maybe just do that bit. So maybe get the brackets on as well for the worktop to sit on, and yeah, just carpet from there up, because once it's in, doing it through that hole is an absolute pain, as that's what I did last time. So yeah, I might carpet that first if I can find it. So I've got this, it's Dodo Fleece EVO, but basically all it is recycled plastic bottles. Look, so it's not that horrible itchy fiberglass stuff, but I'm pretty sure you can just get this from B&Q, probably cheaper. That's going to go in this channel, in these channels, and that one, and in them. It's also probably going to go behind the boards on here and here. So I'm going to put some of that in that little channel. I can't find my stretch carpet. I've got a feeling I threw it because we've been moving house and I think a lot of stuff got through, so I'm going to have to order some stretch carpet to go in here. I found some brass hinges that are going to go on here, so I'm going to put some stuff in there, and then I'm going to have a play with this panel, and then once I've done that I'm going to do them ones, I think. So I ripped the trunk out of it, and then you just want to rip small bits off and then start feeding them just through there. I do have a nice tool actually that will rod these down, but I don't currently have it. I think you get the idea. There's also one there, so you can go that way. So I'm not sure if this actually does anything or not, because this metal still gets really cold, because this is obviously attached to the cap. This part of the capping's outside. So I'm not sure if this actually helps, but you can't get any sound ending in that little gap. Yeah, you see it's kind of wedged it up to there, so I can't really. I'm going to have to get something to try and help rod it through. Once this panel's off, to be fair, I think that you could easily poke them down. The thing is, you don't really want it that compressed. Obviously, if it's really tight and compressed, it's not really doing its job. The main reason it's doing its job is by trapping air inside. So the more fluffed up you get it, the better. So me ramming it down here, compressing it, isn't really helping. I'm going to go and have a look, see if I can find something just to help me push it through. So half an hour later, after my phone decided to bust, randomly just turned off. And won't turn back on again. Right, I have part of an old CB aerial. Go on the side. How far is it there? About to there. Ow. That's how you break your finger. Bend round enough in that corner. Oh, just. Right, so that is all the insulation done behind there. That way. So next, I'm going to have fun here. I've got that all cut out and sanded. I've added a bracket on down, where can you see? Down there. Just to stop this bottom moving that I found was a problem. All of this will be fixed when the worktop's on, because that's going to tie front to back. Just got these screws to put back in and this door to then put on. So you can see I'm just holding it up roughly where the hinges be. I thought I took enough off, but clearly not. So so I need to kind of measure. That's going to go obviously back on there like that. So I've got to take roughly that much off that corner. So if I take that much off, okay, that's going to be fine there as well. So let's roughly mark it. It's about there. Is it going to fit now? Look at where the hinges are, look. Yes. Okay, right. Where did the bolt go? There. Thank you, IKEA, for that bolt. Really tighten it up yet. The screws started. Which way were they? Do it that way, I think, that way. Screws are so fiddly, absolutely tiny. I think let's try that now. It's going to fit quite nice and tight. Wouldn't it be funny if the gas bottle didn't fit after this? That'd be funny, wouldn't it? So that's going to miss the top as well. Okay. Is the gas bottle going to fit? Probably not. Just going to come in here. Oh yeah, loads of room. To die now. 2 more, come on. Don't sound very happy. You'll be crying at me. bit tight with the insulation, but for how often it's going to be opened, I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. Right, where did I put the window and everything? I have lost it. How? There. Sorted. So I've just got these panels cut. See how they fit, shall we? So that was going to go in there. That doesn't fit, that's wonderful. Oh yeah, it does. Right, that panel's going in there, like that. I'm just going to put some screws into here. It's not going to be a big structural panel, so that's going to fit in there. And then that is going to be, so I've got to see if you can look in the corner. I've actually got to take a little bit off. I've got to take a little bit off this edge, because this capping's rounded. It doesn't want to go. So I've got to shave a little bit off that corner, and then that will sit flush with here, because this panel here is going to be screwed to the bottom of the worktop. So then this is just going to be a little infill panel between here and the worktop, because somebody got a panel too short. I mean, because somebody designed it like this. I'm sorry the phone died, but you've not missed much. I got these all cut. I've got 2 pocket hole screws going up. I just put 3 screws in here. Again, you're not going to see it. There's not really much strength in here, so I'm not really worried by that. I got this all rounded in nicely. So there's going to be screws coming up to the bottom of this to bring it up to there. So that's really neatened that little corner up now. So what I want to do is, so I've been focusing trying to get this bit sorted, so I can now really get on with doing the worktop. Ideally I like to get all the cuts and everything done now. It's about 3 o'clock, so I've got an hour and a half, 2 hours ish to get that done, and then throughout the week then I can get all the worktop sanded and varnished, ready to go on. So I need to hook it back in here now and draw how I'm going to round this corner off, and get the measurement to cut across, and double check where the hole is going to, actually no, line it up, cut out for that, put it in, and then get that cut across, and then from there then I can sand it all and everything's all ready to go in, bar the hinges over there, 2 little support tabs on there. So you can see now why I needed to put the little panel in here, fill it infill. So I need to try and measure up, take this corner off somehow, so I don't hurt myself. I've marked where the window block is here, so that's going to come off anyway and go in the front. And then I've marked it here, so that's where the edge of this, so it's going to be fixed from here down, or from here back, and then from here forwards we're going to hinge from that side. So I can now get that cut, that rounded, and that just cut out, so the worktop can come down. and then I can get on with this throughout the week then, sanding it and varnish. I think I'm going to clear varnish, I think. Just a clear shiny varnish I think is really going to show this up really nice. This is going to go like a satin oil, well, oiled. It's going to go like a satin finish, and then I think this I'm going to do a really shiny finish. It's going to bring the wood out even more, because I think this is mainly the big focal point of the whole build. I've also decided I'm going to do some cladding in the roof. I've got to try and figure out how to do this really neatly. I've got some ideas because obviously the wood's going to be spaced out, so I've got to figure out how to finish it nicely. I'm going to use some of the offcut from here. I'm going to run really thin strips off. I'm going to have a go bending it, so once the cladding's all up and mounted with loads of screws, I can come through with that nice cedar, so I can bring that bit of that colour up here, and I can run a thin band about this wide, about this wide, a really thin sliver, and bring it up and have it as a nice, let's say, a decorative trim. So one there, one in the middle, and one there, and I think that will finish it nicely. I'm going to put a sheet of birch ply on here, and then when I'm getting the cladding in, say because the cladding's obviously not going to do a nice rounded corner, it's going to be like very angular. So I'm going to line, put a mark, and then I'm going to put a little block of wood behind. I can screw to the birch ply, so it's stepped, and then I can screw the wood to that, and then put that nice bit of trim piece back on. So I just got that cut in half for where the fridge is going to fold up. And you can kind of see a bit of problem I'm going to have here is the wood's still damp. So obviously all this is going to have to dry out for a while. I reckon it must be a good few weeks till that's going to dry out. So I'll just leave it inside somewhere warm to try and dry it out before I can varnish it. Like, I don't know if you can varnish it like that. If I leave the bottom, will it go down? I don't know. I need to search that really, but now I've got it cut, I can now get it test fitted, and it should line up perfect. I've got that little corner cut as well. Just roughed off for now. I'm going to sand it all yet, and I've got a couple of screws up through there as well. There's 3 of them going up through this crack to try and hold that a little bit tighter. You can see it's tightened up a little bit. Right, I don't think you can actually, but what I might do as well is just get the router adjusted really fine and just literally just shave a tiny little edge off there, off here, all the way down. Just take that sharp edge off, and then all this top will just be sanded. That's fine. So let's go test fit it. So this is how it fits. Well, the final fit near enough. No more to come off. That's all sitting nice. That's just, but now it's actually sitting in, it looks so much better. See, I just roughed it off with the handsaw, so try and keep it a bit more of a rustic finish. I'm going to try and just sand this off rough and try and sand this a little bit, maybe try and get this a little bit lighter. So clean all this up, sand it all down, and get it varnished. But the problem now is trying to get the wood dry. Yeah, you can see that's going to pivot up that way. And like I said, there's going to be a panel in here, on top of here. That is going to have a nice brass vent in the top. So that should look quite cool. And again, the hinges can go on that. I could also, I was just thinking now, if I've got the height, the fridge enough, I could always put the wood at the bottom of this, so level with the top of this surface. Hinges to mount on would be a bit better, wouldn't it? Some nice big hinges, but we shall see. So next is going to be sanding and cleaning all this off, getting that ready. I think that wood's going to take quite a while. So what I might focus on next is, well, I'm putting this off because I'm still trying to think of how to mount this and step it upright to make the back support strong enough to sit on there. So I think what I'm going to do next is maybe start either doing some of this, getting some of this in my head roughed out. I'm going to do it. I've got these bits cut now, so these can go back on. Well, they can go on. I'm just going to taper the ends, and then boards can go on. So now I've just been sitting in here for about half hour pondering life. I think next bit is I've got to cut a hole in here for the heater pipe to come up and through. But I can't start any of this stuff above until this wood is dry, because the wood's got to be dry, varnished, fixed, and then the back panel's got to be made to cut to fit in there. It's going to go all the way along, and then I can then put that little bit of shelving and all this up. So it's all waiting on this wood now to be dry. So I'm going to focus more on this bit next. We've got this bit to put on here, these two little strips, and then near enough that is done all the way underneath. This is all done this side. I'm trying to think of what to do in here. I might just get two little panels, two little thin bits of ply, and maybe put little bits of Velcro on the bottom just to hold it in, with a hole cut out here for the gas pipe to come out. Really well designed that I made it a bit shorter, because I can actually cut a hole there in the top of this panel for the gas pipe to come out and into the fold down cooker. So that was a really good idea, because these panels need to be able to remove easily out these holes, so that door can open and the gas bottle can be slid down. So they need to be removable panels in there. I'm not sure what to do with this cavity yet. I'm not sure. So rambling on, it's going to be probably once I've got these strips on, it's going to be focusing on this piece. Well, it's not tidy, it's not properly round, but it fits. So that's going to go down to the heater, and that's where the units are going to be. So this is going to have a unit each side of it, so you're not going to actually see any of this. But that's going to be it for today. I'm going to take these inside and try and get them to dry out a bit. I thought I'd just quickly sand it. Look at the grain on that. That's just absolutely fantastic. Just really quickly whipped over at 180, and it's so soft. I think I'm going to leave these little bits of saw marks in them. Yeah, really nice. I think I'm just going to get a bit of a Scotch pad and just quickly rub it along that edge. And I've just got to stick some of these little bits of splinters down with a bit of glue before sanding them. It'd be perfect, ready for some lacquer. So I'm going to call it there. It's getting a bit long now. Thank you for putting up with it. I know it's quite a long drawn out process, but it's coming together now. The wood's currently drying in home, waiting to be varnished, and next week hopefully we can get on with making the cupboard space behind the driver's seat. Hopefully. But yeah, it's all coming together now. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you next week.